Hello, happy Friday. So today's video, I'm just literally going to walk you through step by step on how to literally do market validation, just with one tool using Gemini. I prefer Gemini over, at least for research. And the reason why is because Google already has all this data. It's been aggregating data, behavioral data, location data, geographic data, like for a long time, right? So that's why if I'm doing market research, I would definitely start with Gemini. So the key thing is not necessarily about, hey, which markets or whatever. Yeah, those are great questions, but you want to ask really important questions. So I'll walk you through exactly how to actually see me doing it live, and then hopefully you can get some tips on how to do it for yourself. So the first thing I would do is ask, hey Gemini, so I would like to know, this is 2026, February 27th. I'd like you to actually share with me the top 5 industries that are penetrable, because they're not fully optimized, meaning it has a low cost of entry and there's a wide opportunity, a lot of buyers, a lot of users, and there's huge gaps between what the market has, the solutions that are available based on the problems that those markets are actually facing. All right, so that's the question I would ask, and then just hit submit, and then just look at which markets. So the first thing is to really be a student of markets, right? And see hey, where can you go in and completely dominate? So it's saying AI implementation and legacy modernization, consulting. I think that's pretty broad, right? Mid to small size businesses, that's pretty broad and it's very competitive. It's not specific enough, right? So and then the second one, personal and health preventive, tech support, circular economy and upcycling logistics. So let me ask, hey Gemini, could you get way more niche specific, really specific? If you're talking about businesses, tell me what business. Is it home healthcare? Is it nursing home? Is it get as specific as possible? Don't give me the broad, everyday general response. Get as specific as possible. So we went ahead and responded to that because I really want the specificity of the actual business, right? Instead of just telling me, this, that. So remote patient monitoring, right? Setup and compliance service. The niche, instead of being a home health agency, you are a technical onboarding partner for doctors' offices. The problem, doctors in 2026 get reimbursed by insurance for monitoring patients. Okay, so that's pretty good. AI administrative scribe for solo clinicians. Okay, that's great. Digital product passport consultant for boutique brands. Okay, so we have a couple of them that we could definitely look at, right? Micro credentialing for green collar trades. The niche is short form training for EV home charger and heat maintenance. Okay, so let's pick this one. Let's pick number 5, right? Let's pick number 5, and then what we're going to do is just paste it in there and then say, hey, okay, so we've picked number 5. So tell me more about the lead gen process, or end to end. Let's not even say lead gen. Let's talk about the customer, because it really boils down to 2 things: customer acquisition and retention process, because that's where the gaps are, right? We're literally looking at, hey, how do they acquire their customer? And then the second thing is, hey, how do they actually maintain their customers, right? How do they keep their customers? So, and if you can solve, and because the key thing about launching fast, really, and doing market validation, I would say 90% of the times you're solving a acquisition problem or you're solving a retention problem. Either they're not able to acquire customers, which means, hey, you can even go deeper. They don't have the exposure, or they have complicated processes, or there's plenty of things, right? But this is telling us something really interesting, right? In 2026, the cost per lead for HVAC repair on Google is roughly 80. So you see why I was using Gemini, 80 to 150 bucks. You don't want to compete there. Instead, use these high conversion, low cost entry points, right? The hook, don't sell maintenance, sell an efficiency, a health check, So now from there, now the next step is, okay, can you subscription model, So yeah, so now the next thing is, okay, that tells us where the opportunity is, right? That gives us a rough idea of where the opportunity is. So there's two things now you can approach. You can either do it as a service where you approach these companies and run ads to them and say, hey, it's costing you $150 to $250, just to acquire a customer. If you can actually lower down that cost or increase retention, right? That could offset how much you would pay me. So the key thing is when you're positioning, when you're thinking about markets and how you launch faster and get to revenue really fast is number one is address, like, it's not about, be like this or prompt engineering. Like that's not even strategic, right? The key thing is to pick a very micro business, like micro niche. And then once you pick a really micro niched business, the second thing is, okay, now we've picked this business. Let's look at two core elements. What is their acquisition process like and what is their retention process like? How do they acquire customers? Because the money is in between. It's always in between, right? It's always in between acquisition and retention. That's literally where 90% of companies make their money, right? It's either they're acquiring a customer and then that customer buys something, or they have the customer and then this customer buys something else, right? And they keep the customer there because they're selling more stuff. So if you can literally now look at where the gaps between acquisition and retention, you've literally validated the market without even spending a dime, right? And then now you can go out and look for more evidence. But really quick, like off the napkin, the fastest way is literally, hey, start with what markets are actually trending upwards. And you can even go to, let's go even to Google Trends, right? You can go to Google Trends, right? And then just type in business, right? And explore. And then it'll tell you, hey, so it looks like it's flatline. Actually, that's pretty broad. So let's go into like HVAC, right? HVAC and see, hey, how is it performing, and past 24 hours. So you can see this slight, uptick, right? But generally we want to look at, hey, at least for the past 30 days, past 30 days. So what we generally want to look at is, does it have like at least a flat, is it fluctuating up and down at least within a certain trend line, or is there like a hockey stick growth, right? And that's how you literally look at and find where the opportunity is, right? That's where you find where the opportunity is. Summer is spring is here, so it's definitely people are probably starting to think about, hey, air conditioning, heat, things like that. So like literally go to Google Trends because the data is there. You don't have to fight the data, just start with the data. What are people really already searching for? How is the business trending, and you can even go in, you can look at, hey, what's trending within I like to look at least for 30 days, right? 30 days or past 7 days, you could start with that. And then not just look at, interesting things. Like I'm looking more for things that are relevant. Let's say we can even say business by title, right? And see, hey, what are some of the things that are going on? So this should be like your number one place to literally come in and see, hey, what's trending? What are some of the things, even if it's for newsjacking, where you can come in and see, hey, that could be relevant to my business and I could probably use it, to either, because it's already getting traction. The key thing is not to try and create traction, but to jump on the bandwagon of traction that's already gaining momentum. So hopefully this helps. Again, just use Gemini. I would go to Gemini, and the strategy here is to start with, hey, what are the top 5? You can go even 10 businesses that are really making sales right now, right? And then from there, tell it to get ultra specific, right? Because you saw it'll give you like, hey, go into consulting, AI implementation. That doesn't mean anything, right? You can say AI implementation. You're competing with everyone. If you say, hey, AI implementation for home healthcare, now you're getting warmer, right? Home healthcare. What is the acquisition problem you're solving for them, or what is the retention problem you're solving for them. Maybe retention is about record keeping, right? If you can help them optimize their record keeping, that means they can keep more, they could get more business, right? They can keep more of their clients within the home, right? So literally start thinking in those avenues, and that's how you literally do market validation. And if you haven't signed up for the workshop, man, it's every Saturday, 9 to 1. Cheers.